Hello and welcome to Superpower Broadcasting. I'm Kevin Castley. Thank you for being with us tonight. Great to see everybody here again. We got a lot of people already in the chat, already waiting for us. I think this is the most that we've ever had, waiting up on the stream. We got a lot of people, and I know it's later than usual, right? Because I've been working full time. I'm a pretty exhausted hawk right now, my friends, but I'm also kind of hyped. And we're joined tonight by a based hawk, Jay. Y'all know him. You know, he is the head of the War Kettle. He's the OG hawk god himself. We got Jay here, and it's gonna be good light. It's gonna be good night.
Oh, it's
Jay,
gonna be lit, Kevin.
He's just getting his coffee. It's gonna be lit. Big up. So Jay's just getting his coffee. He's beginning his day. And with me, I got a glass of wine because I'm just ending mine. And oh man, we're gonna get hawkish tonight, my friends. If you were here in our stream the few days ago when it was Jay and myself, we got hawkish, but we got doomy. We got pretty passionate. It got dark. It got we were pretty genuine. We were pretty we kept it real with you all tonight. I don't really have anything structured out, planned or anything. It could be a little more bloomy, could also get doomy. I mean, hell, we're in a dark world, my friends. I mean, we before we go to the stream, I just have a story for you all today. This one, it's not anything remarkably new. Some of you have probably heard of a similar incident happening from others before, but I think it really kind of highlights just the unfortunateness in all of this, which is that I was at the grocery store earlier, just on my lunch break, getting some food. Everybody's standing in lines. We got long lines, and everybody has to be, of course, 6 feet, 2 meters apart, because of the social distancing protocol. And of course, at this actual store, they take it seriously. And somebody, somebody behind me is just like, he says to me, because both of us, we only had like 2 items. I just had a couple sandwiches for, my lunch/dinner sort of thing. And he had some too. And we're waiting in line. And there's like people in front of us that have like a ton of items. And he said, he's like, man, it's like we're in a bread line, man. It's like we're in a Soviet bread line. I said to him, I'm like, dude, think about it, man. I mean, it's a communist virus. It came from communist China, and now we have to live like we're under fucking communism. I mean, that is an ideological victory for them. And I said to him, I'm like, unfortunately, I don't think anything's going to come of this. And he's like, oh, I know, man, and it pisses me off. I said, I'm like, pissed me off too. And even though we only spoke for a couple moments there, I dropped in some hawk pills on him for sure. And when we left the store, I think his attitude towards war was just a little bit changed. And if you can, in your personal life, use the sort of opportunity of people being very upset about what's happening, rightfully so. Obviously, over stuff like this, it's appropriate. If it's somebody who's, actually dying or if they've lost somebody, you don't need to go with the hawk pill. That's, we're not interested in that. But we can use these types of moments of frustration to remind people that there is a world outside of our nation, which affects us. And if we don't do anything, this kind of thing will keep happening. And we can drop in those little pills here or there in casual moments. Sure, you could say, oh, that's just one person or whatever. But it's like, if you had that attitude, you'd never sway anybody. It always starts with one person. Nobody starts with a million people. You just have to drop a pill here, a pill there, and then they drop a pill there, and the cycle goes around. And I mean, to our enemies, our opponents, the establishment on YouTube, as I've been talking about on Twitter quite a bit today, as well as in recent weeks. And of course, our friend Reese points this out as well. Our opponents, the anti-war folks on Twitter and the mainstream media, they're living in 2003. They act like, the establishment wants war and all this stuff. And it's like, obviously, they haven't grown up from 2003. The reality of the matter is that we have a new tone in the establishment these days, which is, let's trade with them. Let's get cheap shit from them. Let's not get hawkish, because getting hawkish would take energy and get money. Oh, they're communists? We can make a quick buck. I mean, it's capitalism shooting itself in the foot. And if we want to have a liberal capitalist system into the future, we have to get tough on our enemies. We have to take this seriously. We have to, get our heads out of the sand and understand that there's a world outside our borders. And if we pretend like it doesn't exist, it'll come here and kick our ass. So we better go over there and kick its ass first. So that's my attitude. And so with that, we welcome to the stream. Big up. Let's give a huge big up right here. A huge big up to Jay.
Big up, Kevin. Kettle. Big up, Kevin. Man. I love being on your show. It's a pleasure being here as always.
Likewise, my friend.
I love that little story about you being in the bread line. That's amazing. I just want to remind you all that here in Cyprus, there is no bread lines. We are not running low on nothing here. Everything is cushy. And the weather is now at 32 degrees, the height yesterday. At night, you can now sleep naked with just maybe a sheet on because it is perfect. But anyway, enough about my paradise that I am living in. So yeah, your little bread time story, I fucking love that. I want to know one thing though. Did you tell him to subscribe to Superpower Broadcasting at the end?
I did not. I figured that would be a bit too much of a pill in one dose. You know what I'm saying?
You could have laid it in there and be like, yeah, if you want to hear more of what I've got to say, just check out my YouTube channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to spread the word, Kevin.
That's a good point. That's a good point to remember for the future, for sure. You got to keep in mind, I'm on a pretty rushed sort of lunch break. I got an hour. I got to get in, get out because of these commie bread lines we got going on that impedes the process as well. And, I figure, he's a young guy. Obviously didn't get too pilled or anything that night, but it's these sorts of moments, these casual interactions where you can really take somebody who might have casually watched secular talk or his ilk, and he knows the memes. Maybe he watched Michael Moore one day, because most of the people you come into contact in real life with aren't going to be political, but they'll be aware of political memes, and they'll just unironically believe that Bush did Iraq for oil, but they're not political. They just know that that's the meme or whatever, without thinking about it. And it's these casual little pills that you can drop here or there that can really kind of change somebody's worldview to, oh, you know what? Yeah, I kind of want to get some payback too. And then all of a sudden, you've just dismantled a decade of this very casual, passive sort of anti-war undertones that these people have. Because let's keep it real, 80 to 90% of the people that are going to give you, the war bad kinds of memes, they've never thought it before. They're just, they're immersed in it because they're friends and maybe they're in a university, or maybe they're trying to have some sort of, they just go with the flow, right? And we're trying to make the flow a hawkish flow because, there's going to be people that don't care about politics. My hope is that those people right now who are just parroting the Bush bad, Bush lied, people die thing without really thinking about it, they'll just parrot our memes without necessarily thinking about it, because we're never going to make everybody 100% conviction political focus. That's just not a thing. People have other things to do in their lives, but we can bring them around to our camp and the defaults of our camp and the assumptions of our camp and the persuasion of our camp. Of course, the neoconservative, the liberal hawk worldview. That sort of is the objective here, right? Is that it's a sprinkling of the pills. It's not 500 milligrams in one dose necessarily. It's a few mils here, a few mils there. It's a continual exposure sort of deal. So
it's got to be done. I had an interesting thing happen the other day. Sorry, I'm just having a quick swig of my beautiful morning Americano coffee from Coffee Island. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, and I got my evening wine, man. I got that Merlot still.
I love this. This is brilliant. This the layout, these streams happening. It's I'm getting up. I'm you messaged me. And you're like, yeah, you want to stream? And I'm like, all right, I'll get out of bed.
Of course you want to stream, dude. I love how hyped you get for my show, man. Because let's keep it real. It's kind of a small show right now. We're just getting warmed up, as 6% Jank would say, just getting warmed up. And he just got warmed up. He spent $1 million to get 6%. For us, it's we're just starting. It's we're on the opposite end of that. Jank is some guy who's huge, and he has to spend $1 million just to get a few thousand votes. Whereas with us, we're small, but we're getting huge every day. And we're not shelling out huge amounts of money to do it. We're just speaking our mind. And I love how energetic, I love how passionate you get. I love how hyped you get to come on and get hawkish. And it's so great. It's so great. I love how you have the Star Spangled Banner in your background. And I love how you always point out, of course, for everybody who's new with us right now, that is a real, authentic American Star Spangled Banner from an American hero and a veteran. It's not made in communist China. It's made in America.
Made
100%
in America. Even says at the top, made in the US of A. America.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good, man. Natalie Avalon says in the chat that 6% jank torched that money. I frankly disagree with that, because he would have gotten more use out of it in terms of saving his heating bill if he had actually physically torched the money, because he got nothing instead. He still has to pay his heating bill, and he got zero. He got nothing. He got nothing. He got zilch, nada. And oh man, it's so good. It's so good to be back on here. Had a long day, busy day, but this is a thing every single day. So I just want to say big up to the patrons who make this happen. Jay's a patron as well. You can become a patron too and help the Hot Gang out here, because once I hit $100 a month, we're doing a daily pre-recorded video in addition to daily live streams. Right now, we're broadcasting to Twitch as well as YouTube live. So if you could do me a big favor right now, go over and click the link in the description and follow this channel over on Twitch. Also, if you could, definitely watch this on Twitch, because Twitch actually rewards viewing metrics at a way earlier stage than YouTube does, because YouTube, it has 1,000 sub threshold for monetization, whereas with Twitch it's 50 for affiliate status. Twitch obviously is much more keen on getting independent voices out there and encouraging them and compensating them. YouTube, on the other hand, is very wary, very triggered. Sensitive sensibilities over there at YouTube. They just can't handle the truth, man. So
well, I have my Twitch loaded up for you, man.
He says no tie is a casual Friday. No, it is kind of a casual Friday. It's casual Friday getting hawkish with Jay. I will have a tie though tomorrow on my interview with Jack Fleck, which you can go and check out. It will be at 11 p.m. Pacific, or 11 a.m. Pacific rather, 2 p.m. Eastern, and he's going to interview me for about an hour or so and get my views on, why I basically side with the neocon side of things, and why I more or less what my issues are with the paleocon side of conservatism these days, and the center right to right wing sort of movement. So it's going to be an interesting interview. And, definitely be sure to be there and check out Jack Fleck's channel. And I'll see if I can post something about that in the community post. I'm such a boomer. I haven't made any community posts yet. I mean, I'm such a boomer on this channel that my hater, one of my profoundly triggered haters, was the first to make a community post. Not even me, because I'm such a boomer. And it's fitting, because what his comment was? It was about 5 months ago. He said, "Okay, boomer," when he saw my stuff. And I think he's still watching my stuff. I think he's probably watching the stream tonight. So hello, you know who you are, and I know who you are. So
I've got the Twitch stream open. I'm watching through the Twitch app, because we've got to help Kevin get those numbers up. I've also put the link to the Twitch in the YouTube channel as well. YouTube stream.
Oh, that's so base, man. We're up to like 16 people on YouTube. We're up to 2 people on Twitch. That's dope. That's dope. I mean, every time we go live here, we get people in. We definitely do get people in. Oh, we got Nick Dubois in the chat. He says Kevin is the mortal enemy of the paleo cringe tards. Oh, absolutely. I call them paleo morons. Like, honestly, let's keep it real. I have far more in common with the social democrats than I do with the paleocons. And of course, the paleocons will be like, "Oh, that's proof you're a communist." But it's like they have more in common with actual communists. I mean, they're both anti-war, they're both anti-capitalism, they're both anti-America. I mean, they're both about the sovereignty, bro. It goes on and on and on and on. And so we do have a lot of new people in the chat. Good to see new face, new profiles. You know, sometimes it's the same person with many new profiles. I mean, one of my haters, I think he's on his third sock now of plays on the KKK with my name, as well as like Kremlin Castly and stuff like that. So might be a Kyle fan. So, you know, we're up to 20 viewers already. That's dope. That's dope. Big up to everybody for being with us. But, you know, I've talked quite a bit already. This is, of course, chatting with Jay. So we're going to let Jay have the floor now to speak his mind.
Oh, my days. What's been going on? I can't even think what's been going on lately. It's been madness. I've see, for me, like the last week, a lot of my stuff that I've been doing is all been related to the UK and my channel, like getting stuff ready for making videos.
Gotcha.
Actually, I'm doing 2 videos that you will like, Kevin. So let's start with those 2. First of all, I'm doing a video about China. I'm going to be talking about how there needs to be investigations and sanctions and everything else, and how the Senate is already trying to put forward trying to put forward an investigation and what happened and how this all started. Obviously, I'm talking about Corona. And various, you know, and how it's all working, and how China is trying to bully people on the international scene to not have any investigations go on of what happened and everything. And, you know, it's trying to block them and, you know, call it racist and all its other talking points. If no one here isn't already, go and subscribe to China Uncensored. That channel is the most base channel out there on
He's
China,
so
basically.
based, dude. He's so based. At some point on here, I really would love to have Chris Chappell on this program, because I mean, I'm sure he's more specifically, of course, focused on communist China specifically and the Republic of Taiwan, Republic of China. But you know, I've watched quite a few of his videos. I used to watch them a lot more when I was younger. I've been a lot more busy these days, but you know, I really, from that guy, I get real neoconservative vibes from him. Like, I mean, he's pilled, man. He knows the deal with China. He understands that.
He sure does.
That you can't just trade with these people and hope that they'll reform because we give them money, because that works so much. Just give them money and they'll change. Really? I mean, he knows.
It doesn't work with China. We've seen that. It's been going on long enough, and we need to now change our tactic. There are other countries that, you know, being neoliberal works. You know, like it works with Saudi Arabia. We're just doling the cash at them, and they're like, okay, we'll let women drive. We'll open up cinemas, and our new king is going to be fucking based and hopefully continue with this liberalization, but it works there. Everywhere else with China, it doesn't.
Into that, but he's also into that. Like MBS, in fairness to MBS, he does want to reform, whereas Xi Jinping wants to go back to Mao's communism. So MBS, let's keep it real. MBS is the most progressive dictator in the world. You know, and you can say, "Oh, how dare you say that he's a dictator?" It's like, yeah, I said the most progressive dictator. Obviously, he's not like you know, a democratically elected official like Trump or Trudeau or anything. He's not going to be anywhere near that. Of course, he's a dictator. And you can say, oh, but he killed Jamal Khashoggi. Yeah, oh, sure, absolutely. You know how many people Iran has killed? Like 400, 500,000 this century so far, like in this millennium so far. I mean, Soleimani is responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths. So it's like, it's cute. You can say, oh, but the Saudis, you know, they killed a journalist. It's like, yeah, but I mean, let's keep it real. Iran is a far, far greater problem, and they don't work with us. Saudi works with us, so, and Israel. So big up.
So I'm going to be doing a video about that, talking about that. I'm also going to be, so I don't know if you've heard on the grapevine, Kevin, you're going to be disappointed, but when I fully explain, you'll understand. But I sold out to TikTok, mate. They got my information, and I've been on TikTok for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I'm bigging it up on the old TikTok, and
you're bigging it up on the TikTok.
Yeah, promoting the Western agenda, mate. It's because it is rampant. because there's two types of TikTok. There is TikTok for the rest of the world, and then there's TikTok for China. And both of them are rampant with Chinese propaganda. And also, I'm doing a video about my censorship on TikTok about this. So me and my mate Annie, I got on there because of my mate Annie. She was just bored with the whole lockdown. So she was like, oh, I'm going to make TikTok videos. And she's now got over 1,000 subs on TikTok in the last month. And she's also getting on board with fighting the Chinese communist propaganda.
Shit, she's getting hot pill?
She's been hooked on the China pill for a long time, but she's been making videos talking about the censorship on TikTok and how she's been censored, and she'll be like, fuck the Chinese Communist Party, and then instantly her video gets censored and gets taken down. But she ain't given up. She's still on it, and I'm going to do a video talking about this more in depth and talking about the Chinese censorship on TikTok.
Oh man, Nicholas Elodian says in Twitch chat, big up to being on Twitch. He says, "Gang gang." Got my meme here I made a few days ago. Man, this meme here is art, dude. Like I made this for my page. Check this out. Yo, gang gang.
I love
it's the hot
that
gang.
one.
We got the Nighthawks.
I love how the bottom one has got the old red, white, and blue. Spangled banner.
Yeah, dude. Because they're hawk pilled, dude. They're hawk pilled Nighthawks. We got another meme here. I love this one. I didn't make this one. This one's based. Big up.
Oh, I love that one. I like the one where it's an Israeli drone, I think it is.
Yeah. I'll get that one.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, I love this one of Reese, though. We have one of Reese. This one's actually like a real-life photograph of Reese harassing Tulsi Gabbard. So
I could believe that. That's totally him. That's him and his ego right there. That's what happens when he doesn't check his ego, mate.
He doesn't check his ego. And I mean, look at how terrified Tulsi is because she's protecting her baby Bashar the butcher right there. You know, he's just a little fish toad thing, you know? And there's Reese coming to rain hell upon them, coming to suck their blood and kill the life force. Oh man. You know,
so yeah,
it's us here.
That's us coming here. Out. Yeah.
We're just getting hawkish, but this is their version of boys' night or whatever. They're just being wrong about everything, man. You got China, you got Syria, you got the Nazbols, you got Tanky Tulsi. Oh man, I'm gonna try to find that Israel meme. I forget which one it was. Was it the one with like the what was it, like air supremacy go vroom, and then it was like the
yes
go
yes
oh man.
Yes.
Yeah, so dude, that one is new. That one's new. I'm gonna have to like clear out some of these older ones and upload that one. I don't have it in my meme magazine here. I have to go and find it. So in the meantime, feel free to.
I'm going to talk about my other video that you're going to like. It is what? Oh my god, that's arrived already. Jesus. I've got the money. I can go buy that today. Awesome. Sorry, a present for Annie has arrived. Since she's fighting because this is actually this message I just got actually. So since she's fighting the communist propaganda and whatnot, I've actually bought her a little something to help her make videos. I'm going to get that for her this morning and take it to her. But anyway, so coming back to my other video lineup, I've got actually quite a few video lines lined up that are coming. I just got to actually sit down and start filming. This one, I need to find a clip. So this video is about North Korea. Now, in the United Kingdom, we have a TV show called Gogglebox. Gogglebox is basically like 5 different households across the UK, covering different political, economic, social, and geographic areas, because obviously those are things that all divide us in Britain. You could be from the south of England and just hate someone from the north of England because, well, they're northern scum, or the other way around because they're a southern fairy. So anyway, this TV show, it's really, really funny. I love it. And there's this couple, and according to the Metro, they the guy who took because it's a couple, he made a comment about Kim Jong-un's sister. And in Britain, we have something called Ofcom, which is the regulator for the television and radio broadcasting. So in Britain, those particular airwaves, be it TV and radio, are regulated by the government. Which I haven't got a problem with, actually, to be honest with you. People who say it's a free speech issue don't understand that it's not a free speech issue. You still got your free speech. It's just the airwaves are owned by the government, so it's their right to say what goes on. Anyway, there were about 50 complaints of racism made about this guy. So I'm sure, because I haven't found the clip yet, and I want to find the clip of it. I'm sure that what he said was probably going to be based or extremely fucking funny, and I'm going to make a video about that. But I want to find the clip of it because I want to include that in the video and actually see what was said, because I don't remember that being the case. But then again, I am a bit behind on my Gogglebox. I'm on last season. But anyway, that's going to be one of my upcoming videos. Also, I want to talk about Jeff Goldblum. Man. He recently made a bit of a controversy on the what's that show he runs? Drag Race. He's one of the judges on Drag Race, and he asked a very interesting question and put it in a very polite way. Basically, he asked, like, is there anything in Islam that someone in the LGBT community should be worried? He said something like that. Basically, he was saying, about Islam and LGBT, and he asked it in a really sort of polite way and not in an insulting way or trying to trigger the libs. You know what I mean? You know how these right wingers will say something just to trigger the libs. He didn't do it like that. It was a fair question, and it was done in a fair and genuine way. Obviously, people were talking about calling him racist and Islamophobic and whatnot. But it wasn't. It was a very good question. But no one's talking about her response to it, which I also thought was very interesting. She, I don't know. He or she, whatever, said that they started off with the typical, Muslims oppressed in the West, blah blah blah. And I was like, grinded my teeth a little bit. But then she went on to talk about how it shows Muslims in Muslim countries that they can be this way and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? That's actually a really good point, We should let gay Muslims wear a hijab with an American flag if that's how they want to feel and express themselves. For one, it's their rights to. Two, it does show that these fundamentalist countries that the liberal way, really, that you can be free and express yourselves in your own individual unique way. But yeah, that's going to be
right.
And then I've got a few other videos about rape gang in Great Britain. Also, recently, some of you may have noticed that I've done some live streams with one was a hardcore white identitarian, bigging it up for the old 14 words for all. And I know the guy, his name's Ralph, and whatnot. But they talk about, I also did another one with a guy called John. Their biggest thing was these people who have committed crimes and who are not British-born citizens. And I'm like, well, of course they should be deported and whatnot. And then Big John, after the live stream, sent me a link to a case where they were fighting their extradition. And I was like, well, it's not great. They've been found guilty and whatnot, but it is their legal right to fight their conviction and all of that stuff. It is just the process. Turns out that also that those individuals have lost their cases and actually haven't been deported yet. So I'm looking into that a bit more to find out what the latest in that all is. And that's going to be another video. And then lastly, we have my video on the FOTS. And also, Kevin, you're getting somewhat featured in that video. Because in the video about the FOTS, I will be announcing a bunch of new T-shirts, but 2 designs of the same sort of T-shirts about how there is only, the meme, there's only 2 genders. Well, I've came up with 2 designs. One of them is going to say there's only 2 genders, fart and simp. That will be explained in the fart video. The second one is there's only 2 genders, hawk and pigeon.
And pigeon. Oh, dude, it's so fitting, dude. You see what's on the screen right now? We got the hot gang. It's a different angle of the hot gang right here.
Oh yes.
There's only 2. There's only 2. You're either a hawk or you're a pigeon. There's no gray area. There's nothing in between. You're either cucking it up in the dirt with the pigeons, or you're hawking it up. Big ups to the hawks. So oh man, Jay. So I found the meme. Yes. I have the meme I believe you were referring to here. So we're going to appreciate it in all its glory. I'm going to remove the chyron temporarily because it's a bigger text meme. Here we go, my friends. Let's take a look at this. This one's pretty cool.
Oh, there we go. Love it.
There we go. Oh man, so many anti-Zionist heads are gonna explode, dude.
See, do you know what really pisses me off about like a lot of the far right that are anti-Israel? A lot of the time they're anti-Israel because they're pro-Islam and they want what is referred to as white Sharia, where they want women to be oppressed. They want these fucking, barbaric ideals kept in place, and that's what pisses me off when they moan about Islam in the West, and then they fucking secretly want all of the same things.
Oh yeah, well at least
Nick Fuentes, go on.
Well, at least Nick Fuentes will be honest about it. I mean, we've played the clip on here a number of times. Have you seen the clip of him saying he wants communism? Like that he'll take communism as long as it's anti-immigrant over Trump and all this shit. I mean, they are becoming more mask off to the fact that it's not so much that they're as TYT would portray them, oh, they're Islamophobic or whatever. It's like, no, they realize they have a lot in common with Islam. They just have an in-group out-group sort of understanding. However, that's fading away, really. They're more and more now identifying their in-group as Islamic. I mean, you see that with Paul Joseph Watson, where he talked about how, well, this is why the terrorists hate us and made apologetics for terrorism because there was a female bartender in a video. I mean, it really is changing, because one thing that you used to be able to rely on with the conservatives was that they would at least be patriotic. You could disagree with them on stuff, but they would always side with America over the terrorists. But this new brand of paleo-moronic conservatives, they will happily side with the terrorists over America, and they'll call it red pill. They literally see treason at this point as red pill. So,
or they go fucking sucking the teat of fucking Daddy Putin over in Russia and go into basically events run by the communist propaganda department under Putin. Not communist, but fascist Russian propaganda department run by Putin.
Well, it's interchangeable. Like, let's keep it real. Putin at his core is informed and operates on a very chauvinist, communist, KGB sort of way of operating. However, of course, they switched out communism for fascism. But it's a brand of fascism that's a lot closer to communism than you might think. I mean, Eurasianism, Putin sort of ideology at this point is kind of drawn from Alexander Dugin, who kind of sees Russia and the future of Russia as basically the integration of the Tsar, of Stalin, and of like this basically third positionist sort of future. I mean, it's Nazbol gang, you can kind of think of it as. So yeah, they're fascist, but they're also still very similar to the communist system in many ways. So
yeah, well, Tommy Robinson fucking zipped over to Russia just before the whole Corona thing and went to a so-called free press event ran by a Putin puppet propagandist. And
Uh,
yeah, mate, yet again, Tommy is selling out Britain. I think selling out Britain to Russia is a bigger prop sellout than selling out Britain to the Islamists, in my opinion. Because at least with the police and the government, the Islamists will be more taken care of. The problem
that's
is
true.
with the current state of affairs, no one's really going to deal with Putin.
No,
And we're
Putin
not
used
really
weapons of mass
fighting.
destruction on your soil in the UK, and Theresa May did nothing about it. So obviously, Putin is a far bigger threat. There was a comment here by Nicholas 18. Let me just going at the comment. He says, "Yeah, Nicholas 18769." He says that meme in reference to the one of haha air supremacy go vroom and haha Uzi go brr. That meme, he says, speaks to the core of anti-Israeli sentiment. Why you big and powerful and not letting the little guy underdog beat you like in movie? Basically, that's the meme. It's like everybody roots for the Palestinians as the underdog, and it's like really they've ganged up on with the Arab dictatorship bullies on their side to try to destroy Israel and annihilate the Jews like 3 times, man. It's like, I got news, dudes. Israel is the underdog. They're surrounded by bullies and they're sticking it to them and they're winning. So it's like David and Goliath, you know? Israel is the underdog. But I'm not saying root for them because they're the underdog. Even if they were Goliath in that case, you root for them because they are the morally correct side. I wish they were the overwhelming force, but they're not, and they need our help. So
Yeah, and coming back to Tommy to finish off, because this is where my other video comes into, is it's called the Schoolgate campaign. And again, referring back to the 2 live streams with Ralph and Big John, they talked about how liberals want to teach 72 genders to our children. And I was like, well, I was like, well, you know, that does sound silly and stuff, but I don't know anything about it. I'd have to look into it all, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, I'll be honest with you. I said to him, I was like, it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I'll look into it. I'm sure it's not that. And of course, they use the typical buzzwords. They're trying to sexualize our children. Kevin, we need to think of the children. They're hypersexualizing the children. Anyway, they spouted on about this thing called the Schoolgate campaign. And I was like thinking to myself, that sounds a bit too familiar. And I was like, okay, well, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you all. Well, I looked into it all, and basically finding out that Tommy is pro this is basically the icing on the cake of fuck Tommy now. This is too much. He's gone on for years about defending the LGBT community, and had transvestites, drag queens, supporting Tommy, when he's been called racist and everything else. And then he gets involved with this Schoolgate campaign. Now, I went on their website and they're spouting off about legislation, and I've watched her on a live stream on this YouTube channel called it's called Hearts of Oak, which apparently Tommy is kind of involved in. And also fucking Sargon of Borcard has also sold out the LGBT community as well. So when he's spent the last years giving it, wanting to look after the gay community, bullshit. He's just sold them all out down the fucking down the river. And basically this Schoolgate campaign, they promote it as talking about issues with the future school education legislation that comes into force this September. Now, on their website, they do not at all talk about the legislation in question. I'm actually just trying to look for their website a little bit now. They don't talk about the actual legislation that's the problem and whatnot. They just make a lot of assumptions on schoolgatecampaign.org. I'll put it in the YouTube chat for people if they want to really check it out. It's British politics, guys. So, I mean, I know all you Yankees are probably like, ugh, who cares about the old country? Anyway, the old country matters, goddammit. Anyway, you go on this website and they, a lot of it is choosing your gender. A lot of it is just very vaguely talking about some of the stuff that's going to happen. And a lot of it is buzzword wording like UN and World Health Organization promoting radical sexualization of children. I read that straight away and I was like, this is concerning. This is clearly going down the road of conspiracy theorists and whatnot. Anyway, it turns out that, yeah, this group doesn't give a fuck about the actual legislation, because I went and looked at the government legislation for it and a synopsis basically done by the Commons, not by the government, but done by the House of Commons. So this is people that are sort of employed by the state. They are the civil service, basically. So their opinion on when they write something like this is based on what it actually is, not their opinion like politically. It's basically what the interpretation of it all is, non-politically as done as possible. What they're basically saying is like, yeah, we're going to teach kids that relationships happen not just between a man and a woman, but between men and men and women. And then they're also going to include in the upper year, when it comes to actual sex education, when we get told about that the penis goes in the vagina, that sometimes a man will put his penis in a anus, Kevin. All right, apparently that's too much for him, but this is just normal stuff I went through at school, and I'm like, there's nothing bad here. And to be honest with you, then I went and watched this woman's live stream, the fucking creator of all of this, and I'm just like, no, this isn't about thinking of the children. You don't like gay people, love. You don't like that they can get married. You don't like this at all. This is an anti-gay agenda. This isn't about thinking of the children or maybe some genuine concern of maybe too much of a liberal education of our children. No, this is all just cover for you to push your anti-LGBT agenda. That is it. And Tommy has got into bed with them, and so has fucking Sargon of Borcard. And mate, there's just one thing I will not have is selling out the gay community, well, any community at all, really. It's a piss take, mate. I just so pissed at Tommy and Sargon for just sucking up to this community.
Well, it was kind of obvious that, like, at least with Sargon, I know a bit more about Sargon personally. Just it was apparent that he was always on Putin's side at the end of the day. I mean, these guys, they take a stance of we'd rather sell out the West than try to reform the West. So, they really do at the end of the day see our enemies as being a better shot of getting their way than trying to reform the West in a way that would be more conservative. They've given up on democracy, in other words, right? So, I mean, you don't think that you're going to win fair and square in a democracy if you go and cuddle up to Daddy Putin. Like that's not something you think they're going to win. Does that's what a loser does, because they know they can't win, because people are done with it. Like I'm pretty socially liberal, right? Like I'm with you there, right? I mean, my economics, to some extent, is probably going to be closer to a lot of the conservatives, but on social issues, the West and Enlightenment, basically the bastion of freedom that the West is. You have the freedom here to be a conservative. You have the freedom here to be a liberal, but I don't want people basically infringing upon other people's lives like that within the West. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have any issue if somebody wants to, live a conservative lifestyle or whatever, but you can't go and then basically indoctrinate the youth and inculcate them to the point that, kids commit suicide over this, man, literally. So,
Yeah, and and that's the thing, when these people and poor kids see anti-LGBT propaganda and are, not sure about their, be it sexual identity, who they're attracted to, they feel comfortable in their own body as their gender, and then they see this stuff, and it does drive people to suicide, and it's horrendous.
Oh man, Henry's in the chat. He says here, Sargon, the rebels did the chemical attacks, not Assad. Of a cod. Like, he literally has parroted that meme. That's a Russia Today propaganda talking point, that it wasn't Assad, which of course it's a moot point. It's an irrelevant point for all intents and purposes in the conflict in Syria, because even if it were true, which it's not, but even if it were true, okay, but what about the 600,000 other people that Assad has killed? Like, oh, what? He's not a bad guy because, like, oh, it was a false flag. It's like the chemical attacks is just a drop in the bucket. Assad he should have been gone 9 years ago. The fact that he's still alive proves how much of a shit show and how many people will die when you choose to go with somebody like Obama instead of a neocon like John McCain. So, I mean, elections are consequential. They matter. The fact that Obama won that election versus McCain sealed the fates of 600,000 Syrians who died, and 8 million or so that had to flee their home country. They wouldn't have had to do that if McCain were president. So go out and vote for Hawks. And like, I don't care if the Hawk is left wing. I don't care if the Hawk is right wing. If you got a left wing Hawk against a right wing isolationist, you vote for the left wing Hawk. If you got a right wing Hawk against the left wing isolationist, you vote for the right wing Hawk. Because foreign policy is the issue of our generation. Simple as that. That's my view. So,
Oh, yeah. So what else have I got? Yeah, those are the big ones that are in production at the moment. I've got a few others that I'm looking at, but they're going to be a little while. Oh, no, climate change, right? Because I've talked about climate change before, and this is what pisses me off about the right wing, right? Is they deny, sorry, I shouldn't say the right wing, far right. They deny climate change vehemently, then bitch and moan about Africans coming to Europe, right? Well, the biggest problem and why these people are coming to Europe is because of...
Jay, we got a troll in the chat. I just got to stop you right now. This is just a classic troll. The guy's name is literally paleo-conservative. He says, hey, Kevin, the neocons are losing. Dude, you're on my stream right now. You're wasting your own time on my stream, dude. We're obviously living rent-free in your head, bud. Oh, man.
I love you, Rogue. Sorry, I just want to say I love Rogue. I love Rogue Knight. She's the best. She's the best little Mexican in California.
Rogue Knight says she voted for John McCain. Yeah, Rogue Knight says here, I voted for McCain. Based. Big up, Rogue. Based.
Yeah, Rogue is based. Rogue is fucking super based. What was I saying? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, climate change.
Oh, yes.
Climate change is a big problem, and also it's a bit of a two thing, because what pisses me off about the far left when it comes to climate change is all they want us to fucking do is build wind farms and solar panels, like we can totally rely on the sun and the wind to provide us power 24 hours a day. I'm like, you fucking dumbasses. How about we build a couple of nuclear reactors? Sorry,
dude. They're anti-nuclear power,
man. I know, and it pisses me off so much, mate. I'm like, no, let's build some nuclear reactors. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't do what the fucking British government did, where we're like, we're going to build a nuclear reactor, and I'm like, yes, we're doing it. We're getting another fucking power plant at Hinkley Point in Somerset, and then it's like, oh, but we're letting the Chinese build it, and I'm like, you fucking cunts. What are you doing,
man? No, you know why the Greens. And this is where we get a little bit conspiratorial, but you know why the Greens, who are so adamantly and vehemently opposed to climate change, and they want to move towards alternative sources of energy away from fossil fuels. You know why they're against nuclear energy? It's not because, they think, it's not that they're paid by the solar lobby. It's not that they're paid by the wind lobby. It's that they're supported by the Russians. Like, let's keep it real. The head of the Green Party in America had dinner with Putin. You know who benefits
Oof.
from? You know who
You're on about
benefits
that?
from?
Hang on, is that Dr. Jill something?
Jill
Is it that?
Stein. Jill Stein. I'll see if I
Yeah.
still have the picture of her having dinner with Putin, because she had dinner with Putin and Mike Flynn, who went on to be Trump's national. There it is. There it is right here. I'm just going to remove the comment on the screen. This happened. She's the head of the Green Party. What's she doing with the guy who's drilled more oil than anybody else in the world? That's Vladimir Putin right there. At the time that she was meeting with him, Russia was the #1 oil producer in the world and gas producer. And she's sitting there as the head of the Green Party for America, having dinner and all smiles with him at this celebration for Russia Today, like I guess their anniversary or whatever. And there's Michael Flynn on Putin's right, and they're just chatting and having a good time. And you're like, okay, this is the far right in America with the far left in America coming together around Daddy Putin in Moscow, and this woman here vehemently against nuclear energy, totally opposed to fossil fuels, all this stuff, but wants like wind and everything. I got news. The reason why they want to do that is because at the end of the day, they know, you really can't have an economy that's completely solar and wind. So we want Russia, basically. This is the Green Party. They want Russia to monopolize the or at least have a much larger market share of the gas and oil industry. So if Russia's the only one you can get fossil fuels from, and you still need them because you got the Green Party agenda through, pretty convenient, huh? So this here is why Putin, one of the reasons why Putin supports the Green Party. I mean, you would think somebody who drills as much oil, non-environmentally friendly, somebody who's really right-wing, why would he be so in favor of supporting and giving solidarity to the Green parties in the West? Well, I got news. It's because the Green parties in the West help him corner the oil and gas market in the world. So that's what it comes down to. And I'm not saying that everybody who's out there going to door for the Green Party is like secretly working for Vladimir Putin and they know it. They're just useful idiots. But the leadership of the Green Party, yeah, they know what they're doing. They're in on it. That's where it gets a little bit conspiratorial here. But there's no reason. If you genuinely want to fight climate change, really, you're not for nuclear energy? Nah, that's too convenient, man. It's because of course, the Russians want a huge share in terms of the energy market. And if you deplete or get rid of the domestic capacity with, fossil fuels and that kind of energy, of course, you're going to have to go to Russia at some point to make up for it. It's a pipe dream. Of course, the other issue is, let's say that you, even if you don't buy Russia's gas, well, now you're not producing any more oil. I mean, this is really the pill here. This is where it really matters for America and Canada. Putin knows that she doesn't really have a chance at winning, but he knows that she can get a couple percent and split elections. And he also knows, Vladimir Putin also knows, that Jill Stein can have an impact on the political discourse. What Putin would love to see is for America and Canada to get so woke that we no longer even drill oil, because it's not just about powering our own countries. We export oil abroad. He doesn't like that because he wants to have a bigger market share himself. And so, ironically, the biggest supporter of the Green Party in the world, literally the biggest champion of them, is the guy who wants to produce the most oil and get more money for it. So, I mean, the Green Party is a fucking joke. And I just want everybody out there to understand that the Green Party is bullshit. I mean, they are a scam, man. They're a fucking scam. So, and they are trying to sell out our civilization to fascist Russia. So, that's my view.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about I don't know if our Green Party, to be honest, in the UK, what their thing is, but you're saying about the gas. Europe needs to buy a lot of gas from Russia.
Hopefully from Russia, man.
Hopefully not for much longer, because Cyprus, the place I live, Greece and Israel have signed a pipeline deal to pump, I think, gas and oil from Israel into Europe, and not using the Turkish pipelines and not relying on Turkey. And if we can get Jordan on board, we could probably even get their gas and hopefully get that southeast, the Middle East, the steppe countries like Kazakhstan and whatnot and start buying their gas. Get off that Russian gas. That's what the Western priority should be right now. Get off the Russian gas. Because let's be honest, mate, there's a strategic reasoning of why we don't really deal with Putin. We might sanction and do other things, but the reason is if we go hard with Putin, he turns the gas off and half of Europe freezes overnight.
No, you're correct. You're correct. And that's why I'm going to have a video out on this soon. We were talking about, your upcoming videos. Here's a video that's coming out on my channel soon. I'm going to be advocating very forcefully for Canada to replace Russia as Europe's go-to for gas, essentially. We should be exporting it. And I'm so done in Canada right now with all these woke idiots who talk about, oh, it's just settler colonialism to drill the oil and the gas. We can't do that. That's not very woke. That offends my sensitive sensibilities. Hashtag no pipeline. Hashtag my solidarity. I'm done, dude, because those people there are making Putin a fucking trillionaire and expanding his interests abroad. And I don't care how many times any of these woke fuckers from my school or wherever tries to tell me that they don't support Putin, but they also don't want us to drill oil. Because if you're against us exporting gas specifically abroad, then you're helping Putin. And whether you like it or not, it's kind of the same thing as with Saddam Hussein. You can say, oh, I hate Saddam Hussein. He was a bad guy. That's like the meme that Hitchens mentions, right? All you want and say, I wasn't a Ba'athist or anything, but don't get me wrong, I'm against the Iraq war. And it's like, well, if you're against taking him out, then frankly, I don't give a shit whether you're jerking off and praising his photos and stuff and obsessed with him and fapping them, or you hate him, because for all intents and purposes, at the end of the day, you keep him in power. So intent doesn't matter. And similarly, when you go in and liberate him, intent doesn't really, if you're going in to help the people or if you're going in because you want to expend your political interests, it doesn't matter, because keep it real. American political interests have more in common with human interests than fascist Russia, Saddam Hussein, communist China, any of this sort of stuff. So these people, man, they are not only cucking Canada from within, they're hurting the Western alliance and our ability to resist our enemies. Because just as the neoliberals in America and Canada are really hurting us when it comes to trade on China, they're really hurting us. They're making it so that, this was inevitable that we were going to have this happen. It's like the old plagues back in the day happened because they started in China and everybody was trading with China, and then they came to Europe, and of course this happens now. What are we doing trading with the communist country? Like, I mean, at least with the Soviet Union, we contained them. We didn't trade with them or anything. What the fuck are we doing? We're trading with communist China. Like, I understand doing it in the 70s, back when we needed them as an ally against Moscow. But it's like, okay, the Soviet Union's done. They're our new enemy. Why are we trading with them? It's because we got these neoliberal idiots who want to make a quick buck, and they're willing to shoot capitalism in the foot in the long run to make a quick buck now. It's like trading with communists. That sounds so capitalist, bro. And it's like, of course, they're missing the point that sometimes you have to take a short-term financial hit and focus on protectionism in the short run so that we can get rid of these guys. And then once communist China is a free country, then we can trade with them. Like, I'm so sick of the neoliberal establishment in that respect, just as I'm sick of the woke sort of big movement that's gone on right now, trying to prevent us from exporting gas to Europe. I'm so sick of people within, and I'm sure all these people would argue, oh, they mean well or whatever. I really don't care, because they're hurting us, man. They're hurting our civilization from within. And that's what pisses me off, is because we have an uphill battle to fight. We have to deal with Putin and Xi Jinping. And here's the deal. In Russia and in China, they have everybody on their side that has to sing the praise, and everything works the way that the leaders want it to. And no matter what, they get the final say and they carry out their agenda. Whereas for us, not only are we have to deal with these two vying superpowers, but we also have to deal with all the fucking idiots from within that are going to play useful idiot water boys and prevent us from even even caring about defending our own civilization. Never mind about containing these guys. I mean, these people would have you believe that you should feel guilty for being white, that you should feel guilty for being Western. That no, you shouldn't feel guilty. You should feel privileged, and you should understand that we should therefore use that privilege to do everything in our power to make sure that the rest of humanity can benefit from the same privilege, and that we can make the world Western. But these woke losers want to say, but it's their culture, bro. It's their culture, bro. You can't do anything. That's his sovereignty. That's Putin's sovereignty. Oh yeah, that was his sovereignty when he invaded Crimea. Oh, that's it. And of course, when you bring that up, they'll say, okay, well, that wasn't his sovereignty, but it was his sphere of influence, bro. And then they'll get into the realist degeneracy, and I'm so fucking sick of it, man, dude. I mean, I'm done. Like, can we get people, like, can we just be a civilization that has people on our side? I mean, everybody's forced to be on their side over there. I mean, we're at a disadvantage in that shit. But, you know, even the PaleoCon agrees with me that the neolibs are done. Even the PaleoCon agrees on that, man. Okay, we found some common ground. I still think this guy's a troll, but we found some common ground. But... oh, man. We'll go back to Jay. That was a little bit of a rant from me. So good, man. I'm just looking.
You were talking about your video projects.
Yeah. The climate change. Because I've talked about climate change before on my channel. We had a protest in Bristol, and I went along to it all. And obviously, I was in favor for it and all that stuff. But all it is with a lot of these fucking groups is let's build solar panels and wind turbines. And the other big problem is, do you know that a lot of these materials to make these equipment, solar panels and wind turbines, comes from fucking China? Do you think
petroleum, and it's petroleum based, Like a lot of that stuff is actually made out of plastics too. Like the green stuff is made out of plastics that require oil.
Exactly. You can build a nuclear reactor with less like plastic and oil than what they use to build fucking solar panels and shit.
Well, and a nuclear reactor doesn't depend on the sunlight too. Like you can have a nuclear reactor generate vast amounts of energy for very little material, very little effort. I mean, it's almost free energy. It's not free energy, but it's as close to free energy as we can get in the universe right now. And that will happen at any point of the day or night. You can't say that about solar. You can't say that about wind. I mean, you have to have something as your baseline for the grid. Even if you do decide to substitute the word solar and wind, you have to have some kind of base that, and also, when those aren't, like, it's shooting themselves in the foot, man. It's fucking stupid, man.
And also, a lot of these greens, they don't realize that it's not just you need to have a steady flow of electric, because you do. Like, you need to have a standard amount available, because that's how much gets used at a standard point during the day. However, I know in Britain, I don't know about America, it would be interesting to find that out. But in Britain, when the World Cup is playing, or big football events, and big TV events that have halftime, the national grid actually look at the TV guide to plan how they're going to use one of their systems. In England, there's a dam. We keep water at the top of this hill all day long. And then during the halftime show, like during the World Cup, what they'll do, they'll be like, oh, halftime's going to be in 2 minutes. Better get ready to drop that water to create electric instantaneously, because they know that a good 2-3 million people are going to turn the kettle on as soon as the halftime buzzer is done. So they need to have an ability to create energy really quickly. These Greens, they don't think of that. They don't talk about those sorts of projects where we need to have other things to create electric in a fast, quick way, like dams and downward streams. But nuclear is the way forward. We need to definitely go nuclear. Sooner the better. Because here's the other thing, Kevin. We won't need gas. Like the easiest way to deal with Russia is to take everything off the gas grid. What do we actually need gas for? I mean,
heating
you can
and
get
shit, right?
now you can get boilers that heat up electrically. So then that you don't need the gas.
That's true.
We upgrade.
That's true.
We
The
give
difference,
everyone
though.
Yeah.
No. But the difference is, at least where I am, like where I live, it's largely hydroelectric power. And
Okay.
keep it real, natural gas powered heating is a lot cheaper here than the electric power is. The problem is we don't have we don't have an economy of scale in the same way that you could do with a nuclear grid. If you had a nuclear grid that you were able to really just pump out electricity bigly, you could. I don't know. I haven't really studied it myself, but you could probably do a lot better than hydroelectricity in terms of getting the cost rather for heating closer to gas, because heating's the big one, right? I mean, oh yeah, your lights, all that's a given, but heating takes a lot of energy, man, and that's where the cost can really skyrocket. And I mean, I wish every country in the West was, nuclear reactor pilled. We gotta get, I talk about the nuke pill in foreign policy and stuff. There's also a nuke pill in domestic policy. That's the nuclear reactors. We need to get nuke pilled on both fronts, in my view. So
exactly. But anyway,
and you can use them. You can use them to help build more nukes too, so people will take you more seriously. So it's a double whammy. You get your energy, and then you can weaponize it too. I mean, really, like, there's memes and stuff about how, oh well, Chernobyl happened. It's like, yeah, Chernobyl happened because a bunch of communists had an accident, and then they covered it up for weeks. Like that, really, we're not going to save ourselves and get off of dependence on fascist Russia because we're worried that, but what if it melts down? I mean, I'm serious. There are people around where I live. I've talked with people in the past before. I've had like family friends and stuff kind of express this view before, where they think of a meltdown as it literally blows up like a nuke. Like when they see the mushroom cloud, they think that could be a nuclear meltdown. These people don't know jack shit about how nuclear energy works, like at all, man. And we need to start getting people more aware of how safe nuclear energy is. I mean, the only instances that have been very bad were at the Fukushima plant in Japan, where it was on a very, very massive subduction zone earthquake, where it wasn't really shielded properly enough against a natural disaster, and of course eventually it happened. And then the other was basically, it was human produced. It happened, it was an accident, but then the communist system covered it up, didn't really do enough about it, denied it to save face. I mean, think about how much less deadly Chernobyl could have been if that sort of thing had happened in America. They would have dealt with it like right away. Sure, some people still would have died, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? You can't fault all of nuclear energy and the potential it has based on, well, they didn't shield one well enough from the tsunami, and the other one, well, they were under communism. It's like, really, we're going to give up. We're going to forfeit. We're going to just say, oh, I don't want any of you, to the single energy source that could really empower and save our civilization and make us independent again. It's pathetic, man. So
it fucking is. Yeah, so building a nuclear power plant is the way forward. Just don't sell out to China and let them build it, though. It's madness.
yeah.
So yeah, I need to get on these videos this weekend. That's my plan. So stay tuned for my channel. And yeah.
Based. Oh man, I don't have anything else kind of lined up. Was there anything else that's on your mind, Jay?
Why are you not vegan, Kevin?
Oh man.
Sorry, I
Oh
just did an
man.
article in my Discord because I've got a Discord for where I like prep my videos and do my research because just using a Discord is easier because it's on all my devices. And I just seen about a local pub going full vegan, and I'm an advocate for the vegan way, Kevin. So why are you not vegan, Kevin?
Wait, are you a vegan, Jay?
No, I'm not vegan, but like I do eat a lot of healthy. Look, at the end of the day, I think like we should try to be vegan. I just like don't stop me from having a steak on my birthday, and don't stop me from having ribs when I fucking want to have a plate of ribs. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
But I do think like health-wise, and whatnot,
thing,
it is a
dude,
good way to be healthy.
I was going through some of Atheism is Unstoppable's old videos, and he was dunking on vegan gains and stuff. And I just thought, I never really considered the vegan stuff too well, but I got to say that a lot of the advocates for veganism that are out there on the internet really aren't the kind of salespeople you want representing the movement. It's it's a Holocaust, bro. Vegan gains. I mean, I was looking at vegan gains, and it's like, wait, gains? The dude looks like he just got out of a North Korean concentration camp, dude. Gains?
Mm-hmm.
What? You're not selling. Like, if it was Arnold, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to sell me on veganism, I'm like, okay, we'll have a conversation. Vegan gains is going to sell me on veganism? Really?
Yeah, no, not at all. But no, you're 100% right, mate. And to be honest, if you go back through my channel, you'll see some pro-vegan videos. Also, you'll see some videos of me reacting to vegans and anti-vegan people as well, like calling out their cringe. But no. Yeah. But like, I advocate veganism as like a health thing, like to be more healthy. I don't believe their bullshit about being a Holocaust and all of that. I just think that just for health reasons, we should all just try and be more vegan in our diet. But, have meat if you want to have meat. I ain't disputing that.
No, I got to keep it real with y'all. I'm a hawk, and hawks are, they're basically obligate carnivores. You're not going to have a hawk going around. No, dude. It's... No, dude, I'm a hawk, dude. It's like that meme, dude. Oh man, dude. Okay, there's so many layers to the meme right now. I'm gonna clear out the comment here so we can appreciate the meme that's about to come up on the screen. We got a meme for the screen. We got I'm gonna see if I can find it. It goes back to this old meme that my friend Arthur made a little while back. Actually, not too long ago, where it was on a very cringy exchange that happened one morning on Twitter. I woke up to see some tradcon asking me. She asked, "Are you a simp?" So I'm like, "I'm a hawk." It's the same here. It's like, "Are you a vegan?" I'm a hawk. It's like it tells you everything you need to know, dude. No, that leads me to the next meme. Does this guy look like a vegan, dude? Does he look like a vegan? I mean, look at his eyes. Does he look vegan? I don't think he looks vegan, dude. I don't think that frog thinks he's a vegan. I think that frog's thinking, I sided with Nick Fuentes. Shit. I should have sided with Kevin Cassidy and Shay. So no, dude, I'm a hawk. I have to eat my meat, dude. I need the meat. I need the steaks, dude. I like the steaks.
All right, Kevin. Well, you carry on with your 3 steaks a day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I'll stick to having at least a salad or something healthy at least once a day.
Hey man, I don't make them go to waste like Donald Trump. He's got his whole meme of Trump steaks are the world's greatest steaks before it went bankrupt. He would cook them until they were gray.
Ooh.
Yuck. Dude, if you're going to kill an animal, and consume its meat, be respectful about it. At least, really gray steak. Gray steak with ketchup.
Sorry, Kevin. I'm sorry.
That's what the president eats. Fucking hell. He says, "Believe me, I know steaks."
Why has the CIA not killed him for that as it is? That's worthy enough on the CIA killing list.
That was the high crime. that wasn't the misdemeanor. That was a high crime right there,
Yeah,
man. That was
putting
a high
ketchup
crime
on
right there.
steak, that's just unacceptable. Like,
They got the whole meme of orange man bad. No, it's gray man bad. He eats his steaks gray. Really? Dude, impeachment now. Oh, man, I'll be back in a minute.
impeachment. No worries, no worries. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Kevin distracting me. Where's the chat? There it is. Big up Cam, big up Rogue. I have no idea who that is. Jess Ventry. American poet, actor, author, professional wrestler, mayor of Brooklyn Park. Hold on, he looks familiar though. I don't know, probably. Let's see what's going on in the world of Twitter while we wait for Kevin to come back. Nothing really. Same old stuff. Anti-Semitism here from the left, anti-Semitism there from the right. It's amazing what the far left and far right could unite on. They're pro-Islam. They're pro-anti-Semitism. They're anti-war. Anti-nuclear power. What else? I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that they could agree on, the far left and far right. Just trying to. I should write a list. American Mad House says dead air. Well, I got nothing here. I wasn't expecting this. Should have had some notes prepped up. Let's see what's in the news, shall we, while we wait for Kevin. BBC, fake news. Italy to lift travel restrictions. Cyprus will hopefully be.
Hello again.
Oh, yes, Kevin's back.
Big up, big up. I was just eating a steak and, butchering a cow to get some meat.
Fair enough. I'll be here with my vegan croissant, so it's fine. I'm not even joking, mate. You think I'm taking a piss? It is genuine vegan croissant from the bakery. Because I got up, mate.
I love this comment. I love this comment from Nicholas, 18769. He writes, quote, "Internet vegans are the Bernie Sanders supporters of food discourse," end quote. I couldn't agree more. And they all support Breadline Bernie too. They all support Breadline Bernie. I mean,
that's not true. That ain't true. Mate, I know a bunch of vegans that are Trump supporters. It's funny. I know vegans that are Trump supporters. I'm not even joking.
Wait, how is there a vegan Trump supporter? Like, vegan seems like such a lefty sort of thing, but
mate, I thought that too, and then I got introduced to the world of the right-wing veganism, and it is amazing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I'll give you an example.
I'll
give you no. They're just people who are vegans but don't like ram it down your throat like the far lefty vegans do. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Anne-Marie Waters, the leader of the For Britain political party in the United Kingdom, who I've interviewed numerous times, is a vegan herself.
Okay.
All of her party members that are vegan all love me for two reasons. One, already because I'm friends with Anne-Marie and I talk about her and blah, blah, blah. But also because I like vegan food, and I went to one of their things, and we all had like a big chat about veganism at this thing, because I turned up and it was all vegan food, and I was like, is it all vegan? And they're like, oh, sorry, Jay, yeah, all of us here are pretty much vegan, so we just do vegan spreads. And I was like, oh no, it's fine, I don't mind going to a right-wing vegan festival, this is awesome. So yeah.
Right-wing veganism. Okay, that's the thing.
Man.
Okay,
it is.
Wow.
And to be honest,
no, you learn something new every day. You learn something new every day.
With the right-wing vegans, they get the good cheese, because vegan cheese is expensive. Now, vegan cheese isn't all expensive, but the good vegan cheese where you can actually eat it and be like, wow, are you saying this isn't made from dairy? That's how good it is. Like, you would not believe it. That's how good it is. That's the kind of cheese they get. They don't get the cheap shit, which is just gross. They get the good stuff.
Yeah. So, do the vegans on the right wing? This is an interesting question, because in my personal experience out here on the West Coast of North America, as well as the memes I've seen and the people I've been exposed to online, they've all basically been lefties of one sort or another, or the vegans at least. And they've been like basically your stereotypical soy boy Twinkie twinkers. What are the vegans on the right wing like? Like, are they bulky? Do they actually get gains at the gym? Like, how does it work?
Some, I mean, when it comes to the male vegans that I've met, they're just normal geezers. Yeah, they might go to the gym, but they've gone vegan because they're like, I want to have a more healthier lifestyle, not because they want to be like vegan gains and just pump iron, so-called, every day. I mean, they might go to the gym a couple times a week, but it's not to do that, you know.
Gotcha.
I mean, most of the vegans, it will be for, I mean, there is a couple that are like, yeah, you know, I don't want to kill animals and I think it's wrong. There are a couple like that, but it's more right-wing vegans are more, you know, health benefits is why they've done it. But there are those right-wing vegans that are like, we shouldn't eat animals, we shouldn't kill them for food and stuff like that. But when it comes to, I know you will want to know this, are there any hawk vegan right-wingers? And yes.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie Waters, the vegan right-winger, she wants war with Iran. She was pro-Donald Trump dropping that missile on the general.
What?
She took a lot of shit from members of her party and the right wing in Britain in general for her stance of being pro the war.
Wait, you said that she's the leader of the For Britain party. So, like, you think of like the hyper-nationalist kind of people as super isolationists, but she's pilled on foreign policy. What?
Yeah.
I mean, that's so rare that you have a nationalist that understands foreign policy. Holy shit, dude. Wow. I gotta look into her, dude. Huh.
Yeah, she's based on quite a lot of things. A few things that she might be wrong on, but you know, that happens. But yeah, the vegan right-wing movement is really fun. I like it. It's been quite an experience. Even the vegans out here, and yeah, out here it's different, the vegan community, because out here there's two types of camps. There are, everything in Cyprus is two types. It's foreigners and locals, basically. And technically I fit into the foreigner category, but I'm pretty well in the local because a lot of my mates are Cypriot. And I act like one of them. I'm just roll up and I'm like, hello, Ray, you know, and just act like they're, you know, that I was born here. Anyway, and I get on with everyone great anyway. But with the vegans here, the foreigners like English or whatever, they're just sort of like they are at home. But the Cypriot vegans, they're right wing, because pretty much all Cypriots are right wing anyway.
Oh, what? All Cypriots are right wing.
Not all, but a big percentage of them are right wing here.
Shit.
Yeah.
Interesting. Like, what type of right wing are we talking? Are we talking like, you know, your Nick Fuentes type right wing? Are we talking like your John Bolton type right wing?
It varies from just Christian traditional economic policies to standard isolation nationalism to full-on hyper ultra nationalism where they think that they can kick Turkey out the rest of the island all by themselves without anybody's help. And they don't need no foreign power, no Britain, no one. They just need Cyprus. That's pretty much the right wing.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So
you got to remember it's heavily
even
religious here. So
they're kind of hawkish, though, then, you know. I would say that's
no, they're only
Hawkish.
hawkish on that they think that they can take the island back themselves and get the Cypriot army to retake it all. Like the Cypriot army could take on Turkey all by itself. But that's it. They wouldn't go any further.
Army in NATO. So like how many soldiers does Cyprus have?
Well, we're a population of 1.2 million, and every teenage boy is trained for 2 years in the army. So, but then again, it's more of a National Guard service, really, and they spend a lot of time at home. It's a joke, as in, I was working in a computer shop a couple months ago. One kid who I knew was like, yeah, I'm off to go join the army next week. And I was like, oh, well, it was great knowing you, mate. I'll see you whenever. Literally 2 weeks later, he walks in and he's like, yeah, I'm home for the weekend, mate. And I'm like, what? You went and joined the army 2 weeks ago and you're home already? What? No, you're meant to be there doing what? So yeah, it's a bit of a joke.
Oh, wow. Interesting. No, okay. Right-wing veganism. We all learned something new. I'm out here over in North America. It's not really too much of a thing here. I mean, I'm sure there are right-wing vegans that I've seen at least, you know, but you know, you obviously know a lot more about that. That's pretty interesting stuff. So
I met a lesbian couple at Bristol Vegan Festival who were right-wing, and I had a really interesting conversation with those two. I was eating in the video. I'm eating a hemp burger, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is disgusting. This is the worst vegan burger I've ever had. Do not buy this. This is terrible." And then after my mate turned the camera off, the girl sort of sat next to me. They started chatting to me, and they're a couple. And she was asking me about my channel. I said I talk about politics and whatnot, and then she was like, "Oh yeah, you know," she's like, "I come to these events which are very left wing, but I'm a bit right wing myself, you know." And I was like, "Oh right." And that was sort of like the first sort of time I really started to find out about right wing vegans.
oh yeah, interesting. And
But
so
yeah.
they're lesbian, but they're right wing. And so in that sense, is it like an economic thing for them, or are they like, you know, socially conservative minus lesbian rights, or what?
I think they were more economic, and also it was mainly for the fact that the Labour leadership was just unvotable completely, which I understood.
Wait, Corbyn?
Yeah.
Dude. Big up Boris Johnson. I don't even really like Johnson too much, but fucking Corbyn, dude. Corbyn's like, he's a Corbyniste. Like, dude, okay, he's not your typical sort of labor. He's no Tony Blair. He's Putin's water boy. He's Castro's water boy. He's Kim's water boy. He pals around with Hamas, literally. Hezbollah, literally. He's like, I've said it before about Corbyn. He's worse than the old school tankies in many ways, because the old school tankies would like the boots of Stalin and stuff. But if you ask them about like Islamic extremism, they would say, well, hey man, religion, that's the opiate of the masses. We're not with those guys. We want, you know, a communist state. But the new woke kind of tanky Corbyn crowd, they're woke on Hamas and the so-called innocent brown people. And so they'll side with radical Islamic jihad as well as hyper-socialist statism. And so it's like the worst of both worlds, man. It's like, dude, I don't like Corbyn. I can understand. Like, Corbyn probably turned a lot of young people, probably a lot of middle-aged people that they're just kind of figuring out their politics and stuff, probably turned them in the right-wing direction, I think, you know? Just by virtue of him being such a shitty leader. That's my opinion, but...
Yeah,
he went on Iranian state TV, press TV, to show for the Ayatollah, man. Like,
Yeah, he's not the only one that's done that. George Galloway's done it. Do you know what's interesting about George Galloway? There's rumours that he's joining the Brexit Party, which is a right-wing
Oh,
political. Yeah,
huh.
it would be
Damn.
interesting if he actually does. I need to check in on that. I haven't checked in on George Galloway in a while. I feel like it's my duty to check in on George Galloway every few months to see what shit he's spouting now. To be honest, there's never anything really new. It's always the same. Israel bad, Palestinians good, Iran good, America bad, Britain bad. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man, you do talk with people that are in, prominent positions and stuff in British politics. Have you ever interviewed or talked with Nigel Farage before? Because like he's like the leader in the Brexit party, but
I got close to an opportunity, but I didn't manage to land it. I did try, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. I have interviewed the leader of UKIP after him. He was a lame duck UKIP leader, but meh.
Interesting. Man, they really didn't perform very well at all. I mean, there was a lot of hype surrounding them. They had a documentary. Obviously, Putin had hyped them up a bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, the conservatives kind of blew them out of the water. So,
Yeah. See, the thing is, when you look at a lot of these like famous right-wing politicians in Britain, a lot of the time their hype and fame is from Americans watching them. Like with Sargon, I bet there is a 70. I'd love to see the analytics of his channel. See the breakdown of country demographics. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 70% American. Even mine's pretty high. It's like 30-40%, I think, American.
No, mine's like 70% American, right? So,
yeah. But with Farage, I mean, he gets a lot of support from Americans, and he also gets backing from American populists as well.
Interesting. No, that's interesting because you're making the point that a lot of the hype, a lot of the memes, and a lot of the energy that surrounded Nigel Farage, you're basically making the point that those people, it's not a matter of them being, going outside and voting. It's that they literally were not even eligible to vote. So
yeah,
that's
interesting. And UKIP, from what I remember, I would have to look it all up and get the actual numbers. But just thinking off the top of my head right now, I don't think UKIP has ever done like really well. They've always had sort of the same amount of seats and stuff. The only time UKIP really lost seats was in one of the most recent European elections, and that was because all those people that kept those people in power in Europe were pro Nigel Farage, and they left UKIP to join the Brexit party that Nigel Farage started just before the last European election. So those people, that's where those people were. That's where the UKIP really, to be honest, it wasn't a party. It was always Nigel's party, and most of the supporters, most of their MEPs were Nigelists, basically, for lack of a better word. And you saw that when Nigel set up the new party, the MEPs that went over to the party from UKIP to his new party, all the supporters that went and followed. Because they followed. That's how you would. That's a good place to look for numbers of how strong the party was, and who supported Nigel and how strong Nigel was. That would give you a good indicator. But even then, their numbers were, when Brexit Party took, they only got the seats that were loyal to Nigel anyway. They didn't get any more seats, from what I remember. And I don't think Nigel or anyone that was, that was pro Nigel Farage in his party of UKIP days, I don't think they even won a parliament seat. I think all their electoral wins have been local government, which is the council. And I don't think they have. I think the closest they came on that was maybe joint control with the Conservative government in a heavy Brexit area, was like the closest they got to power there. But yeah, they never got any real influence from what I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, looking through the analytics on my channel recently, was predominantly the United States and Canada, not too much audience from like the UK or elsewhere. So, but in that makes sense. Obviously, it's based here in Canada, and then focused mostly on American and NATO politics. But Sargon, for him to be based in the UK, but to have such skew towards the United States, that's it is interesting. I mean, obviously, he talks about a lot of American issues. Of course, he talks like if he only ever talked about British politics, I'd be a lot more surprised about it. But he talks about Donald Trump all the time, so in that way, it makes sense.
It's good for the views and good for the money, isn't it? Because let's be honest, when it comes to audience rate, America is a bigger fucking audience than what it is in Britain. Even I realize that.
Yeah. But it goes beyond that. Like the U.S. has about 10 times the population of Canada, but the U.S. doesn't have 10 times more interesting politics than Canada. It's like 500 times more interesting politics. Like ours is a mostly cooperative parliamentary system. Theirs is the most adversarial democracy that has the most power of any country in the world. It's a lot more interesting, so it makes sense to talk about America because, America, I mean, let's keep it real. An American election has more impact on what happens to Canada than a Canadian election in many ways. I mean, the United States, them being the vanguard of the liberal order, if they go isolationist or if they go hardcore in promoting our interests, that makes a huge difference to us because we're either vulnerable to Russia then or we're safe and able to trade freely. I mean, it really does make the world in that respect. And it's unfortunate because in many ways, because if you're going to have that sort of a stipulation that you can't build up your nuclear weapons, you can't build up your militaries to be threatening to America, by the same token, then you have to be willing to protect everybody. You're going to tell them you can't build up, like with Japan, for example, that you can't build up your military. It's like, okay, that's a fair deal, but you got to have our back. But unfortunately, under Trump, they don't really have our back. So it's unfortunate, and it sucks when the leader of the United States is carrying water for the enemies of freedom. It really sucks, And the only one that he's been pretty decent on is Iran, but on Russia, on China, on North Korea, it's been a shit show. I think we both agree on that, right? With Trump. So
yeah, of course, mate.
Oh man, we got Millsrow in the chat. He just showed up. Jay, have you ever been introduced to the memes around Millsrow? Do you know who this guy is?
I've probably seen you guys talk about it, but I can't say I'm 100% familiar. So just give me a rundown.
Basically, he's a guy who, he had been begging Reese for a debate.
Right, Kevin,
he just
don't assume someone's gender. That's like gender phobic or something. First of all.
No. We've heard his voice. He's a dude. But he was begging Reese for a debate. He came out of nowhere and just started attacking Reese. And Reese was like, who the hell is this? But I mean, of course, this happens to Reese and myself all the time. And it's like, it makes sense with Reese because Reese is like this big YouTuber. Obviously, people are going to go to his Twitter and start attacking him. But I mean, let's keep it real. I've had a ton of people, and Reese has even been like, dude, you've triggered these people in a way that like, even Reese is like surprised by. He's like, "How you're a small channel? You got these people all the time being like, let's talk to Kevin, man, over Reese and all this shit, like the Cumlo crowd and everything, and spamming." Well, anyway, with this guy, he was doing the debate me, bro, memes with Reese, and so I commented on one of his desperate, thirsty replies to Reese. I commented, "Debate me, bro," and it was like in the meme text, basically, and then he responded with, sure, time. When are we debating? And I was like, wait, what? We don't know each other. What would we even debate on? What the fuck? Like, so he's obviously just desperate for a debate. And, it's like, oh, debate me. It's like, on what? It's like, I don't care. I just want to debate.
The vegans, Kevin, the vegans do this. They roll up and they're like, they would do this too when the vegan wars were going on like 2 years ago. They would
The
be like,
vegan wars.
yeah, oh yeah,
vegan wars.
Yeah. We call it the vegan wars. Like, if you want, there's
Dude,
like a lot of history. We have the Great Vegan War of I think it was start of 2017, and then we had the Great Vegan War Part 2 in late
Wait, who were the
2017.
belligerents? Like, give me the Wikipedia belligerent side.
Okay,
Generals.
so on the vegan side, it was Vegan Gains, Ash yourself, and a few other sort of vegan warrior YouTubers. And then on the other side, there was me, Amy K, Alfie, AIU, and I'm sure there was a few others as well. And yeah, it went on. There were video mades, live stream, reply, reactions to it. And all the vegans would constantly do would be, debate me, bro. Debate me, bro.
Debate me, bro.
So when you started saying about him saying, debate me, bro, that was it. Instant. I had flashbacks, man. You weren't there, Kevin. You weren't there for the debate me, bro guy.
You've seen some shit, Jay. You've seen some shit, Jay. Jay's got jaded, dude. Jay's been through 2 vegan wars, dude. Oh my god.
And mate,
no. So anyway,
there's some tales as well, because I had some. I took the battle. I took the battle off the internet, Kevin. I took the war to the real world.
Dude, they don't eat animals. There's no tails, dude. They're vegans, dude. There's no tails. No tails.
Well, I took the vegan wars to the IRL, mate, and spoke to the vegans on the ground. And yeah, that was interesting. I won the vegan wars massively. I did a big strategic win that I'll have to tell you about later.
That's so lit, dude. So to continue on with the rundown on the profile for this Mills character, so he does this stuff and it goes on and on and on, and he basically accuses us of wanting to bomb brown babies, and he does the Noam Chomsky memes, and when I said one time, I'm like, you sound like Nutter Noam Chomsky's like he's a better academic than you'll ever be. He's the greatest and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm done. He gets blocked. Reese had already blocked him by that point. Anyway, here's where it gets a bit juicy. Is we were on American Mad House one night on Henry's channel, just keeping it casual, just having some memes, talking. I think Jaeger DePato was there. Bass guy, bass patron of the channel, my channel here. Big up Jaeger DePato, cool guy, smart guy. Just chilling. And I think Anthony and Mike may have been there as well. And then I guess Millsrow had mentioned to Henry that he's been wanting to debate Reese and me for a long time. And like, we weren't going to do it. I was very explicit. I'm like, dude, it's $100 to debate. But I hadn't had the policy formalized yet. I had just been like, dude, I'm not a fan of you. We're not debating, basically.
Oh my God, would rather Kevin. Sorry, no, I need to interrupt you. I need to tell you something important.
Dude, Henry brings him on. And then all of a sudden Reese and I are like right there, and then he goes straight into it, and he just immediately starts talking, and we go into the stuff, and he would make these wild accusations against me and Reese. Like, for example, he said to me, he's like, yeah, but you don't care about the people on the ground, you just their oil. And then Reese is like, how would you know that? And Reese got pissed, and Reese had my back there, and he defended me. But then I was like, dude. And then he's like, oh, no, Kevin, I love you. I love your tie. You have a beautiful tie. And here's the kicker. I wasn't wearing a tie. And in that stream, we were keeping it casual. I had just my Superpower Broadcasting logo avatar. So like, it was so disingenuous. It was such obvious bullshit. And like, he would constantly do this. He would like make this outlandish remark, this slanderous accusation, and then once he realizes, oh shit, that didn't go over very well. No, it's okay. I love you, Reese. I love your tie. And it's like fucking fake ass bullshit. Anyway, we let this go on for about an hour because we were like, oh well, this is his one shot Like he gets his one shot here because he managed to get Henry to let him on. And then he literally goes and calls me a white supremacist right at the end of the video. And I'm like, okay, we're done, dude. We're done. And he was like, no, you have a beautiful tie. I love you. I love you. I love you. It's like, this guy, man, this guy is spurgy as shit. This guy is a joke. This guy is desperate for attention. This guy is a loser. And this guy got his history from Michael Moore, the fat, and Nutter Noam Chomsky, the snoring and boring. So that's the rundown on this clown ball.
So I had another. Sorry, Kevin, but it seems that you're triggering quite a lot of flashbacks to the Great Vegan Wars tonight in me, because I just remembered that you know how you said about the $100 to debate me, bro.
Yeah, because I don't want these guys fighting me with debates. I don't like them. So
yeah, well, Alfie, one of the people on that we would with us taking on these vegan nutters, one of these little vegan spurg balls who was like some nobody on one of the Discord servers that it went down in, kept wanting to debate Alfie, and Alfie replied with $200, please. So you need to up it to $200 to make it correct.
No, I'll say this. For Millsrow, it's $200. For everybody else, it's $100. And that's American dollars, by the way. Don't give me any of that Zimbabwean or Canadian shit. It's a USD. That's the only currency I accept. So simple as that. 100% simple as that. Like it's like Reese said when I was explaining this to Reese and the boys. We were talking, and it's like, look, I'm not some grifter. I'm not out here because I think that like, a bunch of people are going to line up and give me $100. The whole point is my time's worth money. I have a limited amount of time on this mortal coil. I'd rather spend the time with people I like and enjoy the company of, like Jay and the Hawks. And sure, we can do the debate, but you're going to have to pay up. And at the end of the day, you could say, well, Kevin, if you said it to $30, you might have some takers and then you could make money. But it's like, no, it's not about the money. It's a fucking deterrent. That's what it's meant to be. Like Reese is just like, yeah, it's a deterrent. Exactly. It's not like, we're going to do supply and demand, and then we're going to have the equilibrium where I keep lowering the price until it equals demand. I'm like, no, the price is what it is, and I expect very few takers because I don't
it's
feel
like the nukes. It's Kevin's nukes.
To a bunch of isolationist fucktards. Yeah. So that's my.
It's your nuke, Kevin. Basically, it's your equivalent of a nuke.
Dude, I'm a nuke-pilled memer, dude. I'm nuke-pilled like Douglas MacArthur. Don't get me wrong. I like Truman. Truman was nuke too. Obviously, he literally nuked Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But let's keep it real. Douglas MacArthur was a lot more nuke-pilled than Truman was. He got fired over it. But I'm like Douglas MacArthur. I'm the next level. I'm the ascended neocon.
Right, Kevin. We're gonna have to wrap this up soon because
we're definitely gonna have to wrap this up soon, dude. Every time we come on, like we had nothing planned out for tonight. All we knew tonight was that you were gonna have your coffee, I was gonna have my wine, and we were gonna chat. And oh man, we had like 17 to 20 people the whole night.
I'll tell you what, Kevin. Next time, well, actually, what we can do is we can both plan this, and whenever next time this kind of happens, we can go to this because I want to do this. I want to have a night of chatting with you where we chat about the things we don't agree on. So write a list of things that you think that I won't agree with you on, and I'll write a list of things that I think you won't agree with me on, and then we'll go from there.
Dude. Okay.
And the whole point of the night is that we cannot agree on it. We have to talk about things that we don't agree on.
Shit, dude. Okay, I got a prediction for that stream. And before we close out this stream, I want to get a prediction from you. I'm predicting that for that, we're gonna probably find like this is the thing. We're cool, we're chill, we're hawking and everything, and you're a great guy, and I like you. I'm predicting right now with the way that the stream is going to go like that, if that's where we're going in pre-planned, we're at the end of the stream probably still going to disagree on most of that stuff. Like I think,
yeah. It's not about like trying to convince each other to change our mind. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
You could say something from a different viewpoint and be like, "Oh shit, Kevin, you're right. Actually, that has changed my point on this." You know what I mean?
Well, no,
but it's not about trying to change each other's mind. I just want to learn like what it is we disagree on. You know what I mean? And get your point of view on. You know what I mean?
I say that for a couple of reasons, because it's a typical person and you do that. Maybe, you know, you sway some more or they sway you or whatever. But in the case of you and me, we're political YouTubers. We're in our mid-20s to late 20s or whatever. We spent a lot of time thinking on this shit. I think we're going to have some fundamental disagreements that we're not going to synthesize. And my hope with that stream, though, here's my other prediction with that stream. There's not going to be any blood sports or anything.
I don't do blood sports. I mean, that's one thing that the far right give me credit for, right? And I appreciate from them is they're like, Jay, you promote yourself as a lefty, but you don't treat people with disrespect, and all the streams you've done with people you disagree on and whatnot are very good and very, you know, civil. Because they talk about, you know, being respectful and stuff, and then they hold their own blood sports when they have lefties on, and then I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep it, you know. Cool.
I have a third prediction for the stream. I have a third prediction for the stream. It's like, you know, people might be deterred from this or whatever. They may think it's dry. I got news, dudes. It's Jay and me. It's never going to be dry. But here's the deal. It's mostly going to be economics. I think a lot of the stream is probably going to be economics.
And I think maybe the death penalty.
Oh, you know, that's interesting.
I'm predicting the death penalty is going to be one of those things me and you are not going to agree on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm obviously stated on Twitter I support the death penalty, and use the death penalty as I understand it, right? So, so there we go. You know, we've just teased it up. We teased it up. It won't just all be economics and stuff. We're gonna have some spicy social issues in there too. And you know what would be really interesting?
I've got my pad out, Kevin. I'm making notes right now. I'm already on.
You know what would be really interesting with that stream is if foreign policy came into it, because we generally seem to agree on foreign policy, but at the end of the day, I'm a pretty controversial kind of guy, and I guess so are you. So I'm sure we could find a debate on foreign policy even that we don't agree on. I don't know. I mean, we're both big supporters of Israel. We're both hawk-pilled. We both take foreign policy pretty seriously. That would be an interesting discussion. I think, you know, I think that would honestly set a tone for the entire internet to probably learn from, for how you can disagree with people on a fundamental level and not get to like a gutter level about it.
Exactly.
You know, I feel like we're, in a way, we might even wind up respecting each other even more after that, you know, because everybody's got fundamental disagreements, but it's like you can take it one of two ways. You can either take it personally, or you can look at it as, well, you know, this person must be less enlightened or whatever. But it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, I think part of it comes down to, you know, we both are obviously Western. We both support, you know, the liberal order. But that's a pretty broad tent. I mean, that's a pretty big thing, because let's keep it real. The modern conservative parties in Canada, the UK, the United States, and the modern liberal parties in Canada, the United States, UK, they're all in the liberal order. So it's like that's a big area that you can move within, where you're not showing for Russia and shit. So it's like, you know, so
I'm sure we'll find something.
Could be an interesting. We could also get into history and shit too, and lessons on that, different theories and stuff. Like, I mean, I've talked about it before. You know, like I'm, you know, there's parts of me where I'm like, you know, I understand realist logic. I just take it to different levels and stuff. And I know in terms of your way of looking at stuff, you generally look at things from from the standpoint of you're from what I gathered is that a lot of your sort of basis for foreign policy, or not so much a basis, but one of your bigger inspirations is Christopher Hitchens. Whereas for me, it's like Christopher Hitchens is there, but it's also like Gene Kirkpatrick and obviously like Bill Kristol and stuff. But
but then again, I'm British, aren't I? I grew up in Britain, and all my stuff is through British people, isn't it? So that's.
No, I like Hitchens.
Yeah, but I'm saying why Hitchens is. I'm more Hitchens. It's probably because I knew of him for a lot longer, if you know what I mean. I've been following him. No,
Hitchens was pilled, dude. He was pilled, dude. I wish he was around, man. I know we always talk about that. I mean, can you imagine how much Christopher Hitchens would just own all of the Red-Brown Alliance and the era of cringe and the isolationism? And I mean, can you imagine how it would be earth-shattering the degree to which he would slap Kremlin Kyle Kalinske. He would get hitched slapped. I mean, Kyle would have to go to the emergency room, man, after that debate. I mean, it would be a debate to end all debates. It would be over. Yeah. I mean, Kyle would never recover from that. I mean, and Hitch is one of the few people on the left that could ever. I mean, oh man, like that. See, that's one of the things I like about Christopher Hitchens so much is that, like, obviously, like Bill Kristol, Gene Kirkpatrick, all these other people, like they're on the right, but Christopher Hitchens is on the left, and he's on foreign policy. And in our current era today, it is kind of rare to see, because it's only a new thing that you had like the paleocons and all this stuff come out. Like back during George Bush, for example, it was mostly all just on the left who were like defending Saddam Hussein and stuff. But then there's Christopher Hitchens who's saying like, are you out of your mind? You either have no idea about Saddam's regime or you're literally evil. Like, I mean, man, no, dude, he was based, dude. Fucking based.
He was.
Man, big up Hitchens. Big up Hitchens. Oh,
Mitzi is asking a very important question right now in the chat. I think that you should respond to that.
I'll highlight the comment from Mitzi. Mitzi is here. I just need to highlight that. Mitzi asked, how drunk is Kevin? Is that last number 3 or 4? And there's nuance around this, as there are many things on this channel. The answer is I've just concluded my second last. However, take a look at this glass. Like that's a hawk-sized glass. That's not a pigeon-sized glass. So let's say 3.5.
This is where Kevin comes to my side of the hawk gang, the degenerate side. Kevin does degenerate-sized glass drinking. I love it.
Oh man. We are, of course, coming up on the 2-hour. But I mean, oh man, every conversation we ever have, every time we go live, it's fucking based, man. It's always pilled, always based, always full memes. And we had a lot of active discussion in the chat tonight. And so I just want to thank everybody for being here. This was the most people we ever had in anticipation of the stream. And big ups to Jay for having some of his fans come in. We had 10 people waiting for us. We get up to about 20 viewers or so, which is like, again, not bad for a small channel. Keep in mind, Young Turks, they do like 50 times better than us, and it's like, but they have 5 million subs and we have like 320 here, so it's like 6% jank. All those millions of dollars don't really seem to be going so far for him. We got organic hawkery in the house here. We don't even need the money. However, if you want to financially contribute to the channel and help make this my full-time job, so we get more streams, we obviously get a lot more pre-recorded videos per day. Patreon.com/superpower broadcasting. That's dope. But once we get it to 100, it's going to be guaranteed daily pre-recorded video, in addition to daily streams on YouTube and Twitch live. And so we're still at like 20 people, man. We've got what do we have here? We got 18 on YouTube, 1 on Twitch. Obviously, go and follow this channel over on Twitch if you haven't done so yet. We gotta get up to 50 followers, man. It's gotta happen. Gotta happen. We gotta make affiliate status. It'll trigger the pigeons, all the haters and traders. And
all
big
my
up
people
to
watching better fucking subscribe to Kevin. Like, you best do. Sort it out, people. Sub to Kevin. Superpower Broadcasting.
Oh yeah, no, we reached 6,000 independent viewers last month.
Nice.
But only 5% or so are subscribed. So definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. And also be sure to like this video. I mean, I know it's a cliche and everything, but you're not just liking this video because you like the content that happened in this video. If you like this video and the more likes we get, even, a few extra likes, it increases the standing in the algorithm, so it comes up as recommended to even more casual viewers on YouTube, and so they too can get hawk pilled. So it's not just simply you thought that this was a good video. It's that by liking this specific video, you are increasing the reach of this channel overall, the message here, and helping us to get more people to welcome into the hot gang, so we get more memes. And yes, I'm sure we'll also have more haters and traders come up in here, and we can dunk on them and have a good time and get lit. So thanks, everybody. With that, we're going to go to Jay for his closing remarks. Thanks for coming on, Jay.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Kevin. And yeah, just as I said earlier, subscribe to Kevin, everybody. We need to build up the Hawk gang. Hawk gang needs to, and especially with Kevin, we need him and Reese. We need Reese to be making more videos, but that's it's conversation.
No, we need Reese. No, we need Reese. I'm in a dilemma here. I love Reese's content. Reese is so base, but let's keep it real. If Reese was doing live streams every day, my channel probably wouldn't be doing so well right now. I've kind of taken up the mantle to entertain those in our community, because all these guys, we got Zaus, we got Mitzi, we got all the hot gang up in here. They go with Reese, but I mean, in fairness, I'd be watching Reese too. So it's Reese is the OG hot god, right? So it's that he's earned the following, but we miss him, and sometimes he does come on here and we appreciate it, but he is a busy guy, and at the end of the day, we can appreciate the mark that he's already left on YouTube, and understand that the content that he put out. I mean, let's keep it real. One of the things that really pilled me to become a YouTuber and everything and get serious about this was I watched his video defending the liberal hawks. I had seen some other videos of his, but I'd seen hundreds of YouTubers, but when I saw his defending the liberal hawks video, and this was about a year after he released it, I was like, holy shit, dude, what? This is a thing? And I was like, because I had always been hawkish, but I hadn't really been out about it for very long. And I was like, damn, he was willing to say that on YouTube, and it pilled me. And I'm like, that's it. I'm doing my own channel, because I wasn't just going to be on my own or whatever. And it really kind of keeps the momentum there. And it's that video he released a year prior to that. And you're so in that respect, you can do a video and, maybe you'll reach somebody in a year, 2 years, 6 years. Doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's an interesting platform. And sometimes the algorithms can randomly hype up things that were released a decade ago. You never know. And so, I mean, and it doesn't matter necessarily how you, because that one video resulted in a new channel in many ways. Because, of course, I was hawkish. I said before, Reese didn't really affect my political views very much, but he showed me that you can come out here and speak this shit. And that there's actually a community out here. And that's where the pill was, because he didn't pill me on the hawk pill. I was already hawkish, but he pilled me on the YouTube hawk pill. And so now we got another channel out here now. And so sometimes that's what can happen. And hopefully one day, once this channel gets bigger, somebody's going to be watching one of my old videos and be like, holy shit, dude, you changed my mind, or you showed me, I got nothing to worry about. I'm going to come on. I'm going to join the hot game too. And we're going to get another channel coming out that's going to be based and pilled. And it's just going to go on and on and on. And in Kremlin Kyle, I mean, I've got a picture of what Kremlin Kyle looks like right here. Let me just get it up. Let me just get it up, and then we'll cut to the end. But I think we should all appreciate, because when I say Kremlin Kyle, it's not just him, it's Jimmy, it's all these guys. This is what they're going to look like once they see our community. I'm just going to take off more memes, more streams from Arthur here, so we can appreciate the triggerry of the anti-war Zoomer right here. I mean, look at that. Doesn't that look like Kyle Kulinski right now? I mean, that's him, dude. I mean, you can just imagine his like little green background that he spent like $25,000 on that studio. Like, okay, I know I have a big ego. It's a huge meme about the ego thing now, but let's keep it real. My studio looks better than Kremlin Kyle's. I mean, sure, maybe he's got better lighting than I do. Better lighting so that he can illuminate his little cringy dictator apologetics. So I'll take this shit. This shit's real. There's no green screen. It's no green screen. We just got Globe and we got the Empire State Building.
This is real, a real American flag. And over this side, if I turn this, you can't really see it very well. Yeah, and also...
And Israel! Oh, dude, he's pilled. He's pilled, dude. He's pilled,
but of course,
dude.
Like Kevin, as any true patriot, the true flag of my nation is in the only place it should be. And I can't show you because I can't move it into the bedroom, but my Union Jack is above my bed, flying proudly where it should be. Every morning.
It's
a Queen and country.
Northern Ireland and the Commonwealth realms right there. Can't forget the Commonwealth realms, man.
Of course not. Man. Of course not. Long live Her Majesty the Queen, Kevin. The Queen of Canada.
Oh, yeah, that's true. See, that's something that I'm sure we probably would have written about as things that we might disagree on a month ago. But after that little exchange on Twitter with some of the more staunchly Republican folks, I think people are pretty clear that monarchism versus, or I should clarify, constitutional British monarchism versus American republicanism isn't that big of an issue for me anymore. I used to be really Republican when and now I don't really care. So,
Well, here's the thing. So for me on that, when it comes to, because obviously I'm not interested in turning Britain into a republic form of government. I'm only interested in getting rid of our monarchy if we're getting rid of it to do something better, like either full integration with the EU, so EU becomes, the United States of Europe, which is what I would want, or a United World Federation sort of government.
Yes.
Other than that, I think getting rid of the monarchy to become a republic now is just, what's the point? We don't need to. There's no difference in the two. There's no rights we don't have, no laws we don't have. It's not costing us any money, but some people are staunch Republicans. Anyway, Kevin, I have just sent my government mandatory text message so I can go outside.
Oh, man. Well, with that,
do you have your papers, Kevin? Do you have your papers?
Thank you for coming on. And with that, I think the stream speaks for itself. I always usually I'll title these things, Thursday night stream or Friday night stream or whatever before, because of course I'm busy and I don't know what we're going to talk about, and then I'll change the title after. But tonight I had the title before the stream, Get Hawkish with Jay. And I think, we lived up to the title of the stream. So with that, I've got nothing else to say. Jay's given his final remarks. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Definitely like this video. Be sure to check out this channel over on Twitch and follow. And also, if you could, definitely please support this channel on Patreon at patreon.com/superpowerbroadcasting. It'll help me out big time once we hit $100 a month. It's a daily pre-recorded video premiering on YouTube, in addition to daily streams airing live concurrently to Twitch and YouTube. And with that, big up everybody, big up Jay, big up Hawking. Stay based and keep on rocking in the free world. Peace, Warhawks.